Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. It's Thursday the 21st of January. Thanks again for watching. This is your look ahead video. Now, one of the advantages, and there aren't many of them, believe me, of having a plaster on your leg, is that you can put your best weather anorak on and trawl through the records and have a look back at some climatological extremes, get more in depth with the El Nino and try and link it in to the current patterns that are taking place in our weather. Some interesting developments started to show themselves in the upper atmosphere, and that's what I wanted to point out to you today. More on that in just a second. First up though, a tribute to this guy, Richard Hendrickson, who was an observer, a voluntary observer for the US Weather Service for over 80 years. He died on the 9th of January at 103 years old, and he made over 100,000 weather observations twice a day, every day of his life. Now, we've got similar people here in the UK, and I think it's about time that we give them all a big salute and say thank you for the dedication you put in recording your weather observations, getting them into the main system and getting them into the models so that our forecasts improve because of it. Thanks to you all. Now then, I've been taking a look at the El Nino, and while throughout the summer and the winter months I was saying to you, look, although there is a comparison between the El Ninos of 97 and 98, really we've got to look at the temperatures in the Indian Ocean and the North Pacific for adding to that heat. Actually, it's very difficult to make the comparison straight back to the 97-98 event because of that heat in the oceans elsewhere. However, now that we're coming away from the peak of the El Nino and heading rapidly into a La Nina, as hinted in this forecast I showed you the other day from the JMA model, which shows the rise in El Nino and then the maximum here through December before the sharp fall coming down into La Nina conditions into next year. I think that as that is now showing itself and looks like to happen, we can go back and do some comparisons back to the 97-98 event. However, important to note, oceans are still warm, the Earth's atmosphere is warm, and boy don't we know that after the release of the information and the statistics saying that 2015 was the warmest globally on record, and those records going back to 1880. We know there's still a lot of heat in the atmosphere. However, this shape of La Nina coming in quite quickly is one that we can refer back to. Now, the underlying chart here was the 500 millibar height anomalies from the 1st of December through until the 18th of January in 1998. And notice the low than normal heights across the UK here. Now compare that with this year so far, again from the 1st of December last year through to the 18th of January. And again, low than normal heights close to the UK, a ridge here across northeastern parts of the States and another one here across central parts of Russia. So there are some similarities between those two charts. And I'll just bring that one in for you once again. So this was the 97-98 event. And you can see low than normal heights here across the eastern states, southern states, and we kind of have seen that there as well. There's that ridge in the northeast. Look, they're the low than normal heights in the Atlantic, high than normal heights off towards the northeast. This is different. This area of lower than normal heights across Asia, it's kind of there but not completely there. But we are kind of getting back more into that comparative pattern at the moment. That's something I'm going to be doing some more work on during the coming days. Not going to show you what happened in 98 just yet because I want to do some more calculations and make sure that there is some sort of match there before we get into that in more detail. Something else that's cropped up today is looking at the current event taking place in the stratosphere. It's a stratospheric warming event of some sort. Don't rush out at this or get excited, but it kind of had reminiscences of the event that took place in 2009-2010. This was the mean temperature for winter 2009-2010. Do you remember that? Remember how cold it was? The line through the middle here is the average, and these are the winter temperatures. Just notice the big blocks that were below average during that winter. It was the real cold one that was compared back to 1947. Now, I'm so wary whenever I do this and mention these sort of things in the videos. I don't want you running away with the idea that I'm predicting some sort of onset of severe winter, because I'm not. What I'm showing you here is the raw information that I'm looking at and the raw data that we get here, just to get you into our minds and see what we're saying, see what we're advising out to private clients. And we expand more on this, and we'll be expanding more of it over the coming sort of days and weeks. But think about 0910, how cold it was. And the map here for mean temperature, the anomaly from the Met Office website for winter 2009-10, just shows how cold it was everywhere below normal or below average values when we look at the 1971 to 2000 means. Now, over our heads in the stratosphere is where we look sometimes for signals of cooler weather ahead. And I wanted to show you this. It's not a dramatic warming, but there are signs of some warming there. This is the forecast for Sunday the 31st of January. And what I want you to notice is the shape of that temperature there, okay? And the shape of the temperature in there. Just keep those in mind. And then look at this. That's the forecast for the 31st of January. This was the pattern between the 23rd of January and the 25th of January 2010 during that cold winter. Notice here the oval shape here and the oval shape in there. That elongation of temperature across the pole has kind of got my attention. It's not to the stage yet where we're even raising more than one eyebrow, but it's there. There's some hints there. That would indicate colder weather coming during February, during particularly the middle parts of February. Remember our long ranges talking about the cold weather middle part of February? And as I say time and again, you have to be aware when we do these forecasts, I have to be aware that we're not just trying to justify what we've already said. But this is showing some sort of pattern change in the stratosphere. You can see it in the heights as well. These are 10 millibar heights. That's now. Okay, and this is what I mean by the pattern change. That's now with a vortex over the pole and a strong vortex going around the pole. The cold weather we've had at the moment just hasn't been able to break through particularly. That's now, but just look at the position during early February. This elongated pattern taking place. There's no split in the vortex as such, but that split in the pattern and the vortex slipping off the pole. Now, I'm going to say no more than that at the moment. This is just a signal coming in. But I just can't pull myself away from the idea that things go or are showing signs of going colder during February. I have no backup of that at the moment from the numericals or from the longer range forecast models. So nothing's given me any backup to these ideas at the moment. But I wanted to flag it up to you first for the potential for the signs something being there. Now, when you get these warming events, when you get these changing patterns, normally it's 10 to 14 days down the road. So that kind of puts us at around about the 10th of February. It's just something that we need to watch. There could be some signal there. What would be my percentage chance at the moment? Probably 20 to 30% chance. That's what we're thinking of some colder weather breaking through. There's all to play for. There's lots to fall into place. But I wanted to make you aware of it first here at weatherweb.net. Of course, we could be way off the mark. I've run it past some colleagues just to see what they think, and they're of the same opinion as me. There may be something there, but they kind of, whenever asked, they go, oh, here he goes again. But as you know, I'm in no way I'm a snow goose. I don't just chase it everywhere. I don't just look for colder weather everywhere. And certainly it's not something that I die to see. But there's something there. There appears to be some signs in the upper levels of the atmosphere just at the present time. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout here at weatherweb.net. If you want a forecast for the next couple of days for the full detail, check out Gary's Fast Forecast. But for now, whatever you're doing, thanks again for watching. Keep the sun shining, and bye for now.